Hola, buenos días o buenas tardes, año 7. It's nice to see you again. Welcome back to our Your Spanish Online Learning. This is Spring Term 2, Week 1, and this is lesson number 2, continuing with the topic of Mi Tiempo Libre. Empezamos. So, por favor, escribí el título Mi Tiempo Libre, write the title of Mi Tiempo Libre, subrayar con una regla. También escribir la fecha, write the date, subrayar con una regla. And whilst you're doing that, I'll just remind you of our aims and objectives for this week. So we've understood in our last lesson vocabulary about activities that you do in your free time. Today we'll be looking at the present tense of salir and hacer. We've also looked at expressions of frequency and prepositions of place. We will apply the vocabulary that we learn by writing a paragraph in our next lesson, as to will we evaluate and set targets on how we can improve further. Okay, empezamos entonces. So your starter task for today, I would like you to look for the words. So in the first word snake, I would like you to look for the free time activities that we saw last lesson. There's only 4, there's a mixture of them. And in the second word snake, the expressions of frequency. Okay, and again, there are 4 of those. I would like you to write them down in your books in Spanish, please. If you're not certain of the meaning, then write them in English as well. There's an extension task for you there to write 2 other free time activities and expressions of frequency. Okay, so pause this video and give yourself about 3 to 4 minutes to do that. Excelente, muy bien. Let's see how you got on with that. So the first word snake, we have voy de compras, I go shopping, mando mensajes, I send messages, veo la tele, I watch the television, and escucho música, I listen to music. And hopefully you've been able to see that on the screen and it's not been too small. Muy bien, next word snake. And if you remember, the word snake in Spanish is la serpiente. Hopefully you remember that from last term. So this one we have los lunes, on Mondays, todos los días, every day, a veces, that was quite difficult to see that one, so hopefully you got that one, sometimes, and una vez por semana is once a week. Okay, and any other free time activities or expressions of frequency. So free time activities, you could have had salgo con mis amigos, navego por el internet, juego con mi ordenador. Any of those would have been absolutely perfect. And other time expressions of frequency, los lunes, los martes, los domingos, los fines de semana, 2 veces por semana, any of those would have been absolutely fine. But hopefully as a minimum, you got the word snake ones. Continuamos entonces. So today's class, we are going to practice free time activities and frequency expressions with a listening task. We're going to have a little bit of time looking at grammar. I've got a bonus verb I'm adding in for you, which I know you'll love. So we've got the verb ir, salir, and hacer. We're going to have a look at those. And we'll do a little bit of practice with translation and then end the plenary. Okay, so first of all, vamos a escuchar. We're going to listen. I would like you to listen to what these 6 people tell you about what they do in their free time and how frequently or how often they do it. So you'll need to complete that table and it is going to be in English. So if you pause this video and just draw that grid, give yourself plenty of space to do that. Muy bien. So you are listening out for, just before we start the listening, I'll remind you, the activity, how frequently they do it, and there is an extra column there with extra written. That's for any extra information that they give. So you can see for the first 4, there isn't any extra information. So I've put a cross in the box, so you won't hear anything said. But for the last 2, there are. Now, I'm really hoping this works with the sound file. So let's see if we can do this. I'm just going to play it straight through. But obviously, when you are listening to this video, pause it. Please only listen to it twice, as that's what we would do in class, okay? And just do the best you can. ¿Listos? Ready? Excelente.
Página 79. Ejercicio 5. Escucha y escribe.
1.
Listen and write. Off we go.
¿Qué haces en tu tiempo libre, Julio?
A ver. Los lunes voy a la piscina.
2,
¿Y tú, Iván? ¿Qué haces en tu tiempo libre?
pues una vez por semana voy al cine. 3,
¿Qué haces en tu tiempo libre, Claudia?
Los jueves salgo con mis amigos.
4,
¿Y tú, Mauricio?
Juego con mi ordenador. Todos los días juego con mi ordenador.
5,
¿Qué haces en tu tiempo libre, Juana?
Los fines de semana navego por internet. Es bastante interesante.
6,
Finalmente, Nora, ¿qué haces en tu tiempo libre?
Los viernes monto en bicicleta con mi hermano Miguel. Es muy divertido.
Okay, muy bien, well done. Hopefully you've either paused that, or if you haven't and you listened to it all in one go back, listen to it again and complete the table. So let's see how you got on. These are your answers. So if you can use a red pen and correct your work, writing in the correct answers if you did get it, any of them wrong, and give yourself a mark out of 14 for that. You can pause this video whilst you do that. Muy bien, excellent. Hopefully you got most of that information. Even if you didn't get the extra information, hopefully you got the activity and the frequency as well. Okay, continuamos entonces. So we're going to look at our grammar point now. So we know how to conjugate a regular verb. We did that last term. So for example, if we are looking at the verb escuchar, it's a very regular verb. Hopefully you can see that. And it's one of the verbs that end in, one of the families that end in AR. So if we are conjugating that verb, we remove the AR and we add the appropriate endings. And we know our endings are O, AS, AMOS. Hopefully you can see this, AIS and AN. So that's what we do for the regular ones. We haven't spoken about irregulars, but we are just about to. So for example, something like escuchar, I listen is just escucho. And conjugating the verb ensures that people understand who is speaking, because that's the conjugation of that verb. But some of the ones that we've discussed in our free time activities are irregular verbs, and I've given you a list there. So voy al cine, that's taken from the verb ir, meaning to go. You can see if it was a regular verb, you would remove the IR endings and it would just be an O. So obviously that wouldn't work. It's an irregular one, and it's boy. Remember, V's are B's, so it's boy. And likewise with salir a nacer, in the first person, it's salgo. Salgo con mis amigos. Salgo is I go out. Hago mis deberes is I do my homework, and that's from the verb hacer, which is another irregular. Unfortunately, these three irregular verbs are some of the most commonly used ones, and we simply have to learn them. There's no way around that. So I'd like to introduce you to them now so that they start to be on your radar, so to speak, so you can start learning them, certainly recognizing them. So here we go. The first one, ir, which means to go. So we've got the conjugation there, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, and van. And they mean I go, you go, he or she goes, we go, you plural go, and they go. So you feel free to pause this video and you can practice the pronunciation. What I would like you to do after you practice the pronunciation is pause this video and spend about 2 minutes writing down that irregular verb. You don't have to draw the box, as long as you've written down the pronoun bit, the yo, tú, etc., the conjugated verb, the voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van, and the meaning. So pause this video whilst you do that. If you want to challenge yourself, then translate on Saturdays, he goes shopping. So pause this video whilst you do that. Muy bien. So the translation would be, los sábados va de compras. Hopefully you got that right. or at least can understand why it is that. Continuamos. So the next irregular verb, salir, meaning to go out. So we've got our conjugation there, salgo, sales, sale, salimos, salís, and salen. And they mean I go out, you go out, he, she goes out, we go out, you plural go out, and they go out. Okay, so pause this video, practice the pronunciation, and then pause this video to write down that verb also in your books. And if you want to do the challenge task, muy bien. Excelente. So your challenge, if you attempted that, was on Fridays they go out with their friends. Los miércoles salen con sus amigos. So I was thinking of the verb ir. Salen con sus amigos, because sus is there. Okay, continuamos. And the last of the three irregular verbs is hacer, meaning to do. It also means to make in Spanish, but we're focusing on it meaning to do in today's lesson. So we've got the conjugation here, hago, haces, hace, hacemos, hacéis, and hace. And you can see that means I do, you do, he, she does, we do, you plural do, and they do. So once again, pause this video, practice the pronunciation, rewind me so you can hear me show you how to pronounce it, and please make a note of that verb also in your book. Please do the challenge activity as well to translate every day, you, singular, do your homework. Muy bien. So the challenge for that one, the translation, every day, todos los días, you singular, is you do your homework. Haces tus deberes. So again, if you weren't quite sure how to do that, hopefully now you understand why. So at this point, you should all have those three irregular verbs noted in your book. Please do it clearly. Go back, use different colors, make it really, really attractive to help it stand out. And that will help you remember. Muy bien, continuamos. So we're now just going to practice with a few translation. Vamos a practicar, we're going to practice. I would like you to translate the following 5 sentences. Now you can see number 4 and 5 I've done in red there. Those ones are quite challenging. So ideally I would love you all to try all 5, but if you are unsure, then concentrate on doing 3 correctly. Or if you're running out of time, that might be another thing as well. Okay, so pause this video whilst you translate those sentences, probably for about 3 or 4 minutes. Muy bien, excelente. Let's see how you got on. So it was all translation from Spanish to English, which is the easier way around. So you have all of your answers there. So please mark your work, use a red pen and give yourself a mark out of 5 as well. Excelente. Muy bien, continuamos. So on to our plenary, and we're coming to the end of the lesson now. I would like you to set a timer for 1 minute and say out loud, this is not a writing task, this is a practice in speaking task. Say out loud all the free time activities and expressions of frequency that you can remember. So set yourself a timer to do that now. Excelente. For those of you, if you've got enough time in the lesson or you want to really challenge yourself and you're very able, what are the 3 irregular verbs we looked at today and what do they mean? So just give me the infinitive form. Remember that's the with the ending, with the R ending, and that will be fine. So those to answer that challenge, we've got ir, hacer, and salir, and those were our 3 verbs, irregular verbs from today. So please write a summary of what exactly you have learned from today's lesson. Muy bien, excelente. Lots contained in that lesson, as always in our Spanish lessons. Thank you very much for all your attention and all your work. Muy bien, año 7, well done, y hasta la próxima. See you next time. Adiós.